and welcome back to Mizzou Hockey TV. Everyone, my name is Luca Vitale, alongside me, Cole Morris. Cole, how are we doing today?
Pretty good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. So first things first, what I like to have everyone do on this show is just talk about themselves a little bit. So who are you exactly?
Well, Cole Morris, as you said. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Just grew up loving hockey. I've been playing since I was 3. My dad worked for the Blue Jackets up until I was around 10, so kind of just was always around the rink at Nationwide, going to games, and then would even get to skate with some of the players sometimes. So I really fell in love with hockey at a young age.
So repping the Columbus Blue Jackets gear, I like that. So you're from Ohio, obviously, but you mentioned some of those players. Who are those players exactly?
Rick Nash was always my favorite. Jody Shelley was another huge one. I loved him because he was a really gritty player and kind of reminds me of myself too a little bit. Just always there to protect teammates and throw some hands when needed.
I gotta admit, that's pretty cool. So let's go. So the first thing I want to sort of talk about before we get to that Missouri State series is the rankings, right? The third set of the ACHA D3 rankings just came out the Friday before you guys actually took the ice against Missouri State, checking in now at number 8 in the top 10 for the first time this series. So you guys this season have gone from 25 to 13 to 8. That's pretty good, I have to admit. So before I give you the question here, this is what Coach Bob Bucher had to say when I asked him this question during Coach's Corner.
This message from the wins with Missouri State is huge. Unfortunately for us, we're not going to play any of those 1 through 5, 6 guys this year. So making it further up that ladder is going to be difficult. But I think being in the 8 hole is a true definition and identification of where we are.
All right, that's what Coach Bob Bucher had to say about you guys in that 8 spot and how sort of it's going to be a little difficult to climb that ladder, as we know, like Grand Valley State's there, Hope College, Michigan, Florida Gulf Coast. What is your reaction exactly to what Bucher had to say?
I think he's really spot on. From where we started at to where we are now, I think it really shows just the grit and how much this team wants to win. And with those teams higher up, most of those teams are from Michigan, and I know Michigan is a very competitive hockey state, and so those teams are all going to be really good. And facing them in nationals, if we make it, and same as them, and it's going to be a battle no matter what. And we don't really know as to much what we're going to see. But no matter what, we're going to be ready for it. Bucher's been putting in the systems. We're buying into it. And, we're just going to play our game and be ready.
Yeah, so obviously it's obviously the systems. What you guys are doing is clearly working. 12-1-1 now, I believe, unless it's 13-1-1. So many numbers. But let's sort of talk now about the Missouri State series, right? A lot transpired in that series, but let's talk about the biggest storyline in that series, besides the series sweep, obviously, is the Jack Dobbs. So let's take a look at some of this video right here. This has got to be the most electric thing I think I've ever seen at a Mizzou hockey game, besides just wins. And the fans definitely were definitely hyped. I mean, Jack Dobbs hyping them up right here. And let's take a look what he had to say when he did that.
Oh, I loved it, absolutely. I mean, we had a great showing for both nights this weekend. We had a great showing all year at every single game. And, when you do something like that and you're getting off the ice, and I had to pay homage to a little Sean Carrier last year, and I looked up and everyone seemed to be really happy. So I just, gave them a little something to get a little more excited, and it worked. And coming off the ice, everyone was just congratulatory, and I'm glad we pulled out with a win to really complete the night. And I'm a little upset I didn't get to finish the game, but I'm glad that we got done with we took care of business tonight. Yeah.
All right, so that's what Jack Dobbs had to say about hyping up the crowd. Basically, before he left the ice, he made sure to do that one last thing and hype up the crowd. That was definitely special. Where were you exactly in that moment?
I was sitting in the penalty box. I got a nice little 10-minute then the last 10 minutes of the game, so enjoyed my time in there. But seeing Dobbs really fire up the crowd and protect our guys and protecting himself too. Dobbs has got such a fire under him. He's always ready to go, ready to bring his A game, and I love Dobbs, and we're there right in front of him doing whatever we can to help him.
So can you just sort of talk about the emotion on the whole bench? Obviously, you're in the penalty box, but you're pretty close to the bench. What was it like exactly?
It was loud. It was loud. Everyone was just yelling like, oh, I know every single guy on that bench, and including me in the box. Like, all we wanted to do was hop back over the boards and go help them out. But it was really exciting to see, especially because I believe we just let up a goal, and so we were kind of a little bit down. Mo State had some momentum, and that really kind of brought some fire back into us. And Dobbs getting the crowd hyped up just makes it even better. Like the fans that we have, they're always there supporting us, and we are so thankful for you guys. Like you guys make us who we are. We're not the same without you.
So in that first game, I sort of want to piecemeal this just a little bit because this was probably the biggest series of the season thus far. One could argue there are bigger ones coming up, but as of right now, Missouri State, I believe, has been the biggest series of the season. So in that first game, you guys came out a little stagnant offensively. You're only really to get something going off the rush. You really couldn't get anything going established in the offensive zone, right? Mm-hmm. Fell in a 2-0 hole early on, but when it mattered the most, you guys were scoring. Nick Spolik found 2 goals. Danny Rudman found that first one. And obviously you guys won that game despite, in my opinion at least, getting outplayed by Missouri State. I thought Missouri State was the better team in that first game. But at the end of the day, good teams find ways to win. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed is I think the first thing that came to my head is that Purdue series came to my head. That first game, that third period where you guys blew a 3-goal lead. You guys were able to overcome adversity this time around. Would you say you guys applied that game as like a lesson?
Yeah, since that Purdue series, like that series was kind of just a real wake-up call for us. We weren't buying into the systems that Book was teaching us. We were kind of just playing very individual hockey, trying to do our own thing. And since then, like we realized that if we want to continue winning in this league, we have got to buy in, do what we're supposed to do. And I mean, Book is a great coach, and he's here for a reason to help us. And he's doing exactly that, and now we're doing our part, buying into his systems, and we're using them, and can clearly see they're working well against like teams like Mo State, one of the powerhouses in the matcha. So it really works out.
So that second game, 1 word, penalties, 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 and more penalties. So let's take a look at some of these numbers because I do want the fans to see these numbers. I am not here to talk about officiating, but rather I just want to show these penalties right here. Let's take a look at this. Missouri State, 88 penalty minutes. You guys, 66, and then 40 minutes worth of ejections. That's the last time I checked. That's a lot of numbers. That's a basketball score from like the 1980s or the 1990s or whatever you want to say. That's a lot of penalties nonetheless. With that type of game sort of happening, how do you guys sort of not get out of rhythm or not control your identity?
It's just like, it's going into that series, it's going to be gritty, it's going to be a battle, and it's like everybody on the bench just there for one another, trying to keep our heads on. And like we get into the locker room after some of those periods, and some of the first things that are said are, keep your head on, like stay in the game, don't like get into any of their stuff. You really just have to focus on what you're doing and, block out everything else.
So as a defenseman, obviously your job really is to make sure to give Jack Dobbs and Tanner Richardson an easier job so that way they can keep that puck out of the net, right? Your job is to really make sure to prevent those goals. However, doesn't it feel great when you score one, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. The first one is always special. Actually, my first even point of the season, but for that to even be a goal is even better, so felt really good. I mean, Ruddy went down below the net, drew everyone back into the zone, and I just had so much space up top, so had to use that, and worked out for us.
Yeah, did you just throw it on the net just to see what would happen?
Yeah, I kind of got that in the spot, and I figured while I had the time, I might as well just let it loose, and I saw Napper in front too, so I figured if, worst case scenario, like maybe just pops off, gets a rebound, and Knapp is so good, I know he'll be able to control that puck and put it right in the back of the net. So
let's sort of talk about your teammates, right? This is a very talented team, a very talented roster. In my opinion, at least talented than last year's. And last year's team got to nationals. So this is obviously a step even moving forward. Like, this is also a very young team as well. So you got the young and the youth going on in this program, and that's where we're going to sort of move with this direction now, as we know what Nick Spolik and Andrew Knapp bring to the table, right? But let's sort of talk now about Aaron Hemmer and Charlie Walker. These guys have been bringing their play to a whole new level the last couple of series. Charlie Walker, especially with the hat trick in that second game. Can you sort of talk about what Charlie Walker and Aaron Hemmer's, their recent success, and how it's contributed to the whole team's success?
It's the blue line. It's like, even off the ice, those guys always just smiling together. It's like, as a whole, they have such great chemistry, and they're able to work together so well. They both unbelievable wheels. Like, they're very quick with the puck, have some great hands, and like, even in practice, they're always talking about, stuff that they can do to work on and stuff that they can see in games, and they use it really well, and they make it work. So they're just, as a whole, they're so connected and able to just kind of know where each other are on the ice and make some great passes, tape to tape, and then put that puck in the net.
Yeah, earlier in the season, we were always giving flowers to Spolik, Knapp, and the Rudman line, but now we got to start talking more about the Hemmer, Austin, and Walker line, because they're showing up. I mean, the third line and fourth line, obviously, it's always good to have depth, but they can do just as well on that first and second line. It's always great to have 4 strong lines that you're able to roll out there regardless who the opponent is and perform the way you guys do. So let's sort of now talk about Maryville, right? This weekend, the one game on yet another opponent, a ranked opponent, rather, this weekend, number 22, the first time they're checking in the top 25 this season on a 3-game winning streak. But it's hard to believe, Cole, that this is your last game in the 2023 calendar year. It's hard to believe. And then you guys don't play until January 19th of 2024 against Arkansas at their place. Can you sort of talk about what's the importance of ending the calendar year with a win?
It's everything to us. Like, even after the Most State game, one of the first things said was, we're not finished. We still got one more game, and we gotta be prepared, come hard for that, and then just take everything to them, and then go into this break with a nice win under our belt. Like, that'll help us with the rankings and everything. I mean, they're a lot lower than us, so taking a loss to them would be huge for us. Like, that would really hurt us. But I think most importantly, it's just going into the break. Getting a win is so important, and like, for the next rankings, especially after Most State, it's just everything. Like, especially 3 wins going into the break, just huge.
Yeah, Maryville is known as a very elite program. Even historically, they've been always in the conversation as one of the best programs in the country. But let's sort of talk about how they're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and they split with Northwestern, and then they swept Marian University. So they've sort of built some momentum here lately. How do you guys take away that momentum, considering they're coming to your guys' house?
Really, it's all down to staying in our systems, playing our game, and not collapsing to what they bring to us. We know our game, we know what we can do, and that's pretty much it. Like, we just play our game, and we know that no one can beat us if we do that. Keep our heads on straight, stay out of the box. Don't, retaliation is one of the biggest things too. Yeah, we take a dirty hit or something, and then we can't get up and throw a 2-hand to the back of their leg or something, and refs always see the second hit. So offensively, Maryville doesn't necessarily have the firepower that an Arkansas, a Missouri State, or even a Purdue. They don't necessarily have that firepower. They got a Lucas McMillan, who obviously can get the puck at the back of the net, but it's really their defense that has really been able to keep this team in the top 25, like a Colin McCarthy. He's been really the one, and then Nathan Meek is another one that's been a lead on that blue line. As a defenseman yourself, how do you sort of help your team, when you're not able to score a lot offensively, even though it's not necessarily Mizzou because we know they can score, but how do you guys hold down the fort? What's the importance of holding down the fort? Really just the defensive coverage, Don't lose it. We can't be running around getting out of place because that's when teams start to take advantage of us. And, you know, if they move the puck so well and we're out of place, like, that's easily right in the back of our net. So, you know, staying strong too, and making sure we take care of rebounds too. I know, like, early on in the season, that was one of the big things that we struggled with was rebound control. Pucks just kind of pop out, and as a defenseman, like, it's your job, like, to get the second. You know, goalie makes the first save, defenseman's got to get the second. So, kind of just getting that puck out, you know, either into the corner or even out of the zone. Like, the best thing would be obviously, you know, get that puck tape to tape to a winger or center, and they can get it on a fast break. So.
And then last question, your 3 keys to beating Maryville. What are the 3 keys?
Really, I'd say most importantly, stick to the systems. That's the most important thing, and it's been doing great for us, you know, really been giving us the success that we need and that we love. So that's obviously the first thing. Second thing is just keeping our heads on straight. Don't collapse to what they bring to us, you know, play our game, stay out of the box, really keep it simple. And then third thing I would say is really just, you know, keep the puck moving. You know, I feel like one thing that has we've struggled with a little bit is we'll slow down at times. We'll stop moving our feet. So, I mean, if we just keep our feet moving, especially with the speed that we have, keep the puck moving, keep the feet moving, we can easily take that puck down the ice and then put it right in the back of their net. So.
All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in to Mizzou Hockey TV today. My name's Luca Vitale, alongside me, Cole Morris. Be sure to tune in for more content on this YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, follow us on social media, and visit our website. Again, my name's Luca Vitale, alongside me, Cole Morris. Mizzou takes on Maryville on Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. It's a bright and early one. Show up to the Jeff, be loud, and we'll see you around.